So hello, my name is Antje Lauer. I'm a professor at California State University, Bakersfield. I'm in my lab right now, and I'm part of the citizen science project, dust sampling for the valley fever pathogen. And I'm supporting several teachers here in Bakersfield, California. And I had the original idea on the project because I feel that there is severe education need on valley fever. Even though we live here in an endemic area of the pathogen, a lot of people are not educated about the pathogen and are often misdiagnosed, and patients are not asking the right questions. Their physicians don't know all the details. So I feel that there's a lot of need in educating the public about valley fever. So I thought about how can I reach and improve this kind of situation. So I know that kids are eagerly interested in learning modern techniques and how are pathogens identified. You know, we have all these molecular tools out there. So I thought we could get some teachers on board and their students and teach them how to actually collect dust samples and how to extract the DNA from these samples, and then teach them how to do a polymerase chain reaction to target the pathogen. That is like a cooking recipe, so not that difficult. So my role is to educate the teachers first, and they will educate their students how to approach, how to correctly sample, and then how to process these dust samples. Yeah. So overall, I think this will be good for collecting a large data set over time, and then use ArcGIS to make a map that can be updated over the years. Hopefully the project will be growing, and then we can make it available to everybody who is interested in learning which areas in maybe Kern County or beyond are often experience seasons where the valley fever pathogen can be found in the air, in dust. Yeah, and what does that mean? And we might be working on this in the future and carve out a few side projects. But this is basically it. So I'm responsible for the techniques, the methods, and I can always be there for consulting and help. And I'm also I can also be consulted for learning about the ecology of the pathogen and such. Okay, thank you.
My name is Oscar Delgado, and I'm an environmental science teacher at East Bakersfield High School. I will be supervising our students in sample collection and sample testing. As part of the class, we examine environmental factors and their role in the spread of valley fever, particularly how cities and towns keep growing into valley fever hotspots. It is obvious that increased disturbance to the soil by construction, recreation, and farming will expose more people to the disease. I think the citizen science approach to address the issue can be incredibly effective because you find and build support on how to prevent the disease at the most basic and effective level, specifically high school age youth. They can pass along the message in a very real and compelling way. The collaboration between teachers and local scientists can be rewarding in many ways. Teachers can keep up with the many different fields of study while presenting material that is very relevant and current to our students. The scientists benefit by making their research more accessible to a wider audience and get the opportunity to have labor-intensive tasks done by somebody else. Sample collection and analysis by those involved can also provide huge amounts of data. Opening up a project to the public can lead to a discovery that scientists or a small science group could never do on their own. Public participation enables investigators that would not otherwise be possible. From a teacher perspective, the impacts can be without limit. Students can be inspired to do greater things and gain a greater appreciation for the sciences. It can motivate some to do their own research and at some point accomplish things that we could only dream of. Programs like ArcGIS allow us to show and visualize data in a very accessible and relatable way. We want our students and the public to see a clear and concise message. We want to make it easier for them to understand the data collected and basically understand the greater implication of our research.
Hi, my name is Kate Lopes, and I am so incredibly excited to be a part of the Valley Fever Citizen Science Project. My role in the project includes curriculum development on the biomedical side to help bring awareness of valley fever to the students served by the Kern High School District. As a part of this project, students will study the ecological and environmental concerns related to the valley fever pathogen to gain insight as to why this illness affects so many people living in the Southwest United States, in Kern County in particular. In addition, the goal is to provide students with the tools to understand the medical implications on what happens when a person becomes infected, learn to make diagnostic assessments, and get hands-on experience in data collection, lab techniques, and DNA processing. I currently teach Project Lead the Way Biomedical Science at Stockdale High School, and one of the most incredible things in the world is watching my students go through the process of problem solving, critical and creative thinking, and collaboration to solve real-world problems. As a part of this project, I have the chance to impact so many more students throughout our community by giving them the opportunity to help solve a local problem and be a part of something that's much, much bigger than themselves. Truthfully, that's the reason I chose education, and that is why I am so, so happy to be a part of this project.
My name is Wade. I am a resident teacher in the Kern High Teacher Residency Program. Oscar Delgado is my mentor teacher. Working on the Valley Fever project with Citizen Science Project has been very beneficial to me as a student teacher because I've had the opportunity to see some of the behind the scenes work that teachers do that typically a student teacher wouldn't get to even observe or participate in. So I've had the wonderful opportunity of observing teachers collaborate on curriculum development and even participate in the curriculum development. As a future educator, the Citizen Science Project on Valley Fever has really shaped my perspective on using real-world scenarios to teach science. I feel that learning about valley fever in a real-world way where students are doing the hands-on work in a lab makes learning about valley fever, just learning about science in general, more meaningful.
Hi, my name is Rachel Harless, and I'm the Citizen Scientist Liaison with the Kern High School District. So I liaison between the Kern High School District and CSUB on various projects regarding citizen science. So the project that we are talking about today is our pilot for the Valley Fever project. So I'm going to talk to you about basically what happens in the sampling process. How do we go from a dust sample to a visual representation for the community to see our results? So the first thing that's going to happen, students are going to end up getting basically a sampling kit. The sampling kit is going to include directions on how to collect their sample, and then also a half sheet that tells them how to input the data so that the ArcGIS system can graph and plot these results. So this QR code is going to take students to a sampling form where they can put in all their information, the sample number on their vial, the date and time in which they got the sample, and the precise location or the closest nearby cross street to their home for privacy reasons if they'd like to be a little bit more anonymous. So after they get the sample, they'll be stored in the freezer until the DNA extraction process can happen. And another teammate is going to go through that process who has a better background knowledge than me on that. And then once they go to the processing stage, they'll be putting in that sample number again and eventually giving us the results. So how is this going to look as a platform for the community to see our results? Well, ArcGIS is awesome and is able to produce a dashboard for us. So right now I have some sample data. None of this is true or accurate. This is all made up just to plan and see what ArcGIS dashboard has available to us. We have a map. You could click on a data value and you can see when it was collected, you can see its result, its sampling number, and we have options of how we want to display this information, if we want all of it or none of it. Right now we have all of it just to see what its capabilities are. The user would also be able to change the background or look at their data in a different way, different maps that they can choose from. We chose to put in a pie chart that gives the breakdown of positive, negative, and if there was a sample that had an error. So maybe we want to go back to that site and revisit it. We have a little tracker here keeping track of all the positive test results that we find, and also a different graphic of a gauge doing the same thing. And then this graph down here would be monthly. So right now we just have practice data for the month of April. But if we had the practice data for all the months, we'd have little mini bar graphs for each month that would be able to tell us the positive, negative, and error cases, which will help us to look at trends over time, what types of year maybe we are more prone to valley fever if there is a correlation there. So this dashboard will help the community and students make better decisions about valley fever based upon our research. So that's kind of the plan from sampling to finished product of what we eventually want the community to be able to see as a result of our efforts with the Kern High School District students.